What's up guys, Tex here. Today I want to talk to you about 10 differences between eSignal charting software and TC2000 charting software. Now in a previous video I talked about the differences between TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim and TC2000. I'll link that in the video here somewhere, also in the description below if you want to check that out. Today though, we're going to be talking about the difference between two paid charting software programs. Now, I will first begin with eSignal here, and I'm using the eSignal signature version. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I've used TC2000 for quite a bit, but this month I wanted to just go ahead and try eSignal because they do offer that 30-day money-back guarantee. I'm in about my second week of trying eSignal, and I have to say there's a lot of things I do like about it, but there's a lot of things to certainly consider between the differences between TC2000, for example, which is probably one of the most popular charting softwares alongside eSignal here. Okay, so obviously the first and most obvious difference is going to be in the price. And beginning with eSignal, again, I'm using the signature version, so you can see it's $160 a month. They do have a classic version for $50 a month. However, it says the intraday data is 15 minutes delayed, and signature is streaming real-time data. However, that's a bit of a misconception because I quickly found out that you actually have to pay an extra $30 a month for that real-time data. Apparently it's I guess charged by the markets, and so that money goes to them and not eSignal. I'm not sure the ins and outs of that, but whatever the case may be, you're looking at, on a month-to-month basis, $190 a month for the signature version with live data. Also, eSignal does have a one-time activation fee of $25. So if you were to try it out and cancel in the first month, the only thing you will get back is the $160 here for the typical monthly charge. You won't get the $30 back from the live data or the $25 activation fee. So do keep that in mind. If we go to TC2000, I was using the gold package, so that's basically $30 a month, and it's like another $15 for live data. So all in, you're looking at $45 a month for TC2000 versus $190 a month for eSignal. I do notice here that eSignal has a 25% savings with annual prepay. So if this is an option that you wanted to go with, you could certainly save some money that way. But the discrepancy in the price is very, very big. So certainly it's not going to be for everyone. So certainly weigh the other features that I'm going to talk about in this video. All right, so moving on to number 2, and that's really going to come down to the different type of securities that you have the ability to view within the charting software. So with TC2000, you can actually view basically stocks and options, but that's it. With eSignal, you can view stocks, options, futures, and Forex. However, keep in mind, with eSignal, you do have to pay an extra fee for any one of those features. You can view stocks with the standard signature package, but if you want to view futures, Forex, and options, there are extra fees to view those. So if you're a trader who trades stocks, futures, and options, or whatever, you would have to contact them because I don't actually know. It has this little asterisk here, which means that extra fees do apply. But it does have the capability to view those if that is something that you trade, where TC2000 simply doesn't offer that. And I should also mention that TC2000 is also a brokerage. They're not just a charting software. So you do have the ability to use them as a brokerage to trade stocks and options within their charting software. I don't believe eSignal is actually a brokerage. They're simply a charting software company as far as I know. So that's another difference, but really I didn't make another point for that. Okay, so number 3, and let me pull up the chart here. So starting with TC2000, and this is TC2000 right here. When we're talking about how much history you can view, and I'm only going to really consider the 5-minute chart because that's probably one of the most popular intraday time frames. If I zoom all the way out, you can see we're looking at basically about 7 days of intraday data here on a 5-minute chart. And that's pretty decent. I mean, we can see 5 days of intraday history within any stock in TC2000. However, in eSignal, let me actually punch in SPY here. Okay, so here is today. Not a good day for the market. But if I zoom out, it gets pretty incredible how far back you can go. So there it is. It's looks like it's about 6 months. Yep, all the way back to January, basically January 2nd. The first trading day of this year of 2018. Today is June 25th, 2018. So you're looking at about 6 months of intraday history, of 5-minute time frame intraday history in eSignal. That's pretty darn incredible. So if you wanted to go back and see what the 5-minute chart looked like on the SPY back on January 22nd, you could certainly do that. Whereas TC2000 does not offer anything remotely like that type of history. Now, there is an option on eSignal where you can pay an extra fee to get up to a year of intraday history. However, I didn't really feel that it was worth the extra fee. I don't know what that fee is, to be quite honest, but I felt like 6 months of intraday history should be more than ample if you ever wanted to go back and look at an intraday chart from the past. So that's pretty cool. That's definitely a really, really neat feature that I can already begin to see why they're charging, quite a bit more for this software, because they have just an incredible amount of history stored in their servers. And yeah, I mean, that could be a very, very useful option if you wanted to go back and take a look at some point in the past. Okay, so moving on to number 4, and this one is really just kind of talking about customizable features. So in TC2000, you do have the ability to write your own personal criteria formulas to scan, sort, and plot, and that's kind of taken right from their website. Let me pull it up here. So they talk about it right here. Right here, you can write your own personal criteria formulas. And then another thing they talked about is you can combine conditions based on technical criteria, fundamentals, and different time frames. So they do have a pretty reasonable amount of customizable features and whatnot. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all, especially for $45 a month, what you can do with TC2000. But compared to eSignal, you have the ability to do some really advanced coding. So if you wanted to really get in and you're a really kind of a tech person, you can work with software and things like that. You do have the ability to really kind of get very creative with the things that you can do in eSignal. Plus, they do have an app store, it says here, with hundreds of technical indicators that other people have shared that you can download. So they have a lot of features like that when it comes to customizing the software. So, I'm not really the type of person that does like coding and it really gets that in depth to customizing software, but it's my impression that you probably have more flexibility with eSignal versus TC2000. I think most of us probably aren't going to be delving that deep into the software. So, you can just kind of weigh that as, how important that would be for you. Number 5 would be the mobile app. So on TC2000, it does have a mobile app. It is free, but it's kind of very limited. It's cumbersome. Unfortunately, I don't really have a screen share that I can show you here for the mobile app of TC2000. I've tried it on both the iPad and the iPhone, and I mean, it's functional. But quite frankly, I think, and this isn't really, I'm not comparing it with today with these, but TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim mobile app is probably the best I've ever used. So I hate to even bring that up because we're not even comparing that in this video. But if I was going to use a mobile app, TC2000 is just, it feels like they just kind of threw it together just to have a mobile app. So it's not great. eSignal also has a mobile app. It's free, obviously, if you're a subscriber. It is very limited, but well, I wouldn't say it's it is limited compared to the desktop software, but it's still better than TC2000 mobile app. So to be honest, I haven't messed around with it very much. I've only played with it for like one day. But it has like things like news, and it just has more features in the app than TC2000 does. So I would say that eSignal's mobile app is definitely better for the iPad and iPhone. And I assume it works for Android, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So if you have Android and it's important to you, you might want to call them or do a little digging on that. I'm sorry that I don't actually have that answer for you. And then this isn't really in the mobile category, but I should mention that both of these products, eSignal and TC2000, they do require a PC running Windows. They will not work on a Mac unless obviously you're running Windows in a boot configuration or something like that. Okay, so number 6, that's going to come down to the differences in drawing tools. So I'm going to TC2000 here, and I've showed you this in the previous video with the differences between Thinkorswim and TC2000, and it's really great that they have this this toolbar over here on the right side. I really love this. So when it comes to actual functionality of drawing tools, I think TC2000 is still a really great product. So you can grab a trend line and click and hold with your mouse button and drag out your trend line and then let go. Of course, they have Fibonacci retracements. You can draw from high to low or low to high. So I mean, they have plenty of drawing tools for your needs, and it's probably all you're ever going to need. But I would say the only downside is that you're very limited in the types of customizing you can do to these drawing tools. You should be able to customize them to whatever you would need. Like I can right click and click on edit, and I can customize like the color of the extension color or the color itself of the Fibonacci retracement. There you go. Like I made it yellow or red or whatever. So you can kind of customize the color, and it looks like you can customize some values and things here, but it is pretty limited when it comes to customizing your drawings on TC2000. Also, one of the big things that I noticed that's different between the two, like here's a price line that you can put in, for support and resistance and whatnot. And if you zoom out, the thing is this price line goes across the entire chart, no matter what you're looking at. If I go to a daily chart, see I put this price line in, it goes all the way over here. So if we jump over to eSignal, one thing that I like that you're able to do, for example, talking about that price line, is if I come in here and say, put in a price line like right here, notice how I have it so that it only goes to where I clicked, right? So if I switch over to a daily chart here, see where the price line is only going to where I clicked. So for example, one of the things that I like to look for when I'm marking support and resistance, especially on a daily chart, is I look at the volume. So I look at days that have particularly high volume, because most likely on those days, those levels of support or resistance are going to be more respected than other days. Okay, so for example, here's a really high day of volume. So this candle right here, right? So this day right here, this level, this low it hit right here is probably going to be pretty well respected. So I can just click my price line tool and just click here, and it snaps it right onto the bottom of that candle. And you can see how it only snaps it on at the point where I clicked it and then extends it out to the right. Now that is customizable. If I right click on that and click on edit, it pulls up this little window here, and you can actually change it so it extends right, extends left, or it's infinite, which is basically how TC2000 works. It's infinite. And TC2000 doesn't give you this option. It's just purely infinite. It's always infinite no matter when you put a price line in. So I thought that's really, really cool, because when I'm looking at a daily chart, I hate to have my price lines just going, infinitely across both left or right. I kind of like it where the price line goes to a specific candle that I pointed out or that I marked for a reason. Look at the volume on this candle right here. There's a reason that I marked that, so I really like how I can, I have that option to have the price line only go to a specific candle, and it actually snaps to it. So I thought that was a really cool feature. But I mean, otherwise, when it comes to the drawing tools, they all have pretty much the same drawing tools between the two platforms. You can do like a Fibonacci retracement as well. It looks different, but it is customizable. All of these drawings are going to be customizable between the two platforms. But I believe that eSignal is going to have a lot more options for customizing your drawings and whatnot versus TC2000. So I think for most people, the drawing capability on TC2000 is going to be plenty ample for your needs. But just understand that there's going to be a lot more options for customizing things, pretty much customizing anything. There's going to be more options when you're using eSignal versus TC2000. Okay, let's see. Number 7 is going to be paper and live trading. So, excuse me, on TC2000, you can paper trade. It is part of, if you have a subscription, you can paper trade. However, the only way you can live trade with TC2000 is if you actually use their brokerage. Again, I mentioned TC2000 is not only charting software, but it's also a brokerage apparently. So if you wanted to trade within TC2000, you have to basically be a customer of their brokerage. Now, eSignal actually has the option to add brokerages, many different popular brokerages, for example, like Interactive Brokers and lots of others. I haven't actually set that up. I do have an Interactive Brokers account. So theoretically, again, I haven't set this up, but theoretically, you could essentially link eSignal to your Interactive Brokers account, and then you could take trades. Here's a trade. See, here's a trade menu right here. And let me see if I go new order. See, I haven't set any of this up yet, so I can't really walk you through it. But I've seen some videos online where people where they were talking about setting this up and having the ability to trade within eSignal, which is, can be kind of handy actually, because if you're using eSignal for your charting software and you just wanted to be able to trade within your charting software, I think you can actually click in a chart and probably place a trade. Yeah, right here. Here's a button right here. You can trade. There it is. That's what I was looking for. So it brings up this trading menu right here, and you can see that eSignal does also offer paper trading. But if you had your live trading account linked to eSignal, you would be able to place trades right here within the chart. So that might be a feature that you're definitely interested in. And the plus side is, again, you're not required to use like their brokerage, because I don't even think they have one. But they both offer paper trading. So if you're looking for a paper trading solution along with really good charting software, I would say they're both equivalent in that regard. But I have to say I have not used the paper trading feature on either one of them. All right, so number 8 would basically be backtesting and chart replay. So I haven't actually used this feature, but eSignal does offer a backtesting feature and the ability to replay the chart from the history, from some points in history. So you could actually watch, you could actually watch a replay of a previous trading day, and you could see, the kind of the candles playing out in real time. Again, we're not really comparing it in this video, but TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim does also offer a replay feature like that. So that's certainly another plus to using eSignal, but I have to admit it's not really something that I'm super interested in. So I don't know that I would necessarily pay for it, especially since Thinkorswim does offer that feature. But it is kind of nice that they do offer it if you wanted to kind of consolidate everything into one program. TC2000 doesn't offer anything like that. So, if that is a feature that really appeals to you, just keep that in mind, that your really only option is going to be either eSignal or Thinkorswim. With that said, we're going to move to number 9, and this one is going to be pretty straightforward, but it's just the market depth feature. So essentially like level 2, if you don't have a broker like Lightspeed or TradeZero or Speed Trader or whatever that offers a trading platform with level 2 and whatnot, you do have the capability of using level 2 to get that market depth within eSignal. There is, however, an extra fee, of course, for that. I think it's like, I'm sorry, I forgot what it was. I wrote it down and I threw it away because I just wasn't interested in it, because I get level 2 through my broker with Lightspeed, so I didn't need level 2 in eSignal as well. But I want to say it's like an extra 40 bucks or something a month, or 35 a month, something like that. So again, if you already have level 2 through your broker, you don't really need it in eSignal. But if you're using just eSignal for everything, if you're linking your broker through eSignal and you're trading through eSignal, it might be a good idea to have a level 2. So it's good that they have the feature, but it's not really necessary. So the big difference there is that eSignal does offer level 2 market depth. TC2000 just doesn't offer it. Just plain and simple there. And the final and number 10 differences is going to be, and this one might be more important for some people than others, but the amount of time frames that are offered. So if we jump over to TC2000 again, so I have my favorites up here, like a 1-minute chart, a 2-minute chart, but there are other options. You can go to edit time frame and you can see, like, here's all the options. They have like a tick, 1 minute, 2 minute, etc. They have a lot of time frame options on here. They really do. So I can't short them for that. However, I think that eSignal still offers a considerably more time frame options. So if we jump back over to a full screen here on eSignal, and we go to right here, look at how many time frames we have here. I mean, you have, and especially this one up here is the big one for me. You can look at a 1-second chart, which is just insane. Now it's probably going to take a little bit longer to load because this is an incredibly fast time frame. I'm not sure I would actually be looking at a 1-second chart, but I do look at the 15-second chart for gauging my entries into a trade. So essentially what you're looking at is every single candle is 15 seconds, right? So 3 of these 15-second candles is equivalent to a 1-minute candle. But a 15-second chart is an incredibly fast time frame that can be used to help you, gauge your entries into a trade. So it's just the amount of options that they have, especially with these second time frames here, is probably a lot more flexible than TC2000. So if that's important to you, that's definitely another really cool feature. And then I should also mention that, eSignal, and it's not really one that I had written down, but eSignal does offer the ability to view a lot more symbols at one time. I believe it's up to 500 symbols. I can't imagine anyone would have 500 symbols up at one time, but there you have it. You can view quite a bit more symbols in eSignal versus TC2000. So that's really like I would say the biggest 10 differences between these two charting softwares that I could come up with. Again, I've only been using eSignal for about 2 weeks now. I have to say that I really do like it, but right now I'm on the fence simply because of how much it costs. If it was a little closer, or even like twice as much, let's say it was like $100 and TC2000 was 45, I'd probably definitely go with it. Just because I really like some of the features that it has. One of the things that I talked about in another video that I'll talk about here, and I should have mentioned this in the drawing portion, but eSignal has this really cool feature where you can draw a risk analysis here for like a long setup or a short setup. So this would be like a long setup, and you can do a short setup, and you can click and drag these wherever you want, and you can customize them. So for example, for a long setup, you'd say your profit, you would put it at your entry here, and you would say my profit target is here and my stop is just below this 200 moving average, or something like that, and it gives you this clear risk reward, all your ratios and stuff you need to see, and you can leave this on the chart while you're trading, and very, very handy for sure. And TC2000 doesn't offer that, but they do have a really great distance measurement tool, so you can just left click with your mouse and drag anywhere you want. So you can see when I drag up, I can see that the distance in this move from the starting point is $1.35 or 0.5%, and you can kind of use that to judge your risk and reward, and use that for calculating your trades and whatnot. So that's a really cool feature that TC2000 offers. So with that said, yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Hope you guys found the video useful, and let me know in the comments below if I missed anything, or if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And I guess we'll see. I'm going to give it another 2 weeks, obviously, with eSignal, and decide whether I want to keep it or not. Yeah, I will keep you guys posted if I discover anything else really cool. And in the meantime, if you are trading, please do trade safe. Thank you, as always, for watching. Take care, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.